Hey everybody, it's Carl again, and I'm thinking about getting another group together, doing another gaming group. Right now I have a great group that's online with me, and we play every week. I play on occasion with others, but I was thinking about getting another group together, and that made me think, what's it going to take to make this new gaming group gel? It's going to be made of a lot of different people, from, who knows, all walks of life, because it'll be an online game. So what do I do about that? How do I make it so it's easier to gel players and game master? Adventure and intrigue, fighting monsters out of our league. We'll roll the dice and brave the nice. A +2 and I might. Hey everyone. Like I said, I'm Carl Davis with Tabletop Tango, and I'm glad you're here watching. And if you like what you see, subscribe. We'd love to have the numbers go up. We know we're not going to be famous, but it would be fun nonetheless. So I was thinking about what's it going to take to make my new gaming group gel that I'm looking about creating. And there's a few things that came to me, just some random thoughts. If you have your own thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Throw them in the comments, whatever, and we'll learn together. So the first thing is, obviously, that session 0 is absolutely important. I did a video on session 0. That's where you talk about what you're going to play, how you're going to play it, the lines and veils, X card, all the things that are really important to make sure that the group has the same social contract. They have the same idea about what the game's going to be about. And that's probably one of the most important things for making the game gel, right? Making the players all gel together. Another thing I want to bring up right away is right after session 0 is you don't need to suffer through the pain. If the game group's just not gelling and it's just not looking like it's going to work out, you don't have to keep going. Find some other group. Have some of the things that I'm talking about later, the adult conversation. Don't suffer in silence just because you need to have a game group. It's supposed to be fun. Everybody's supposed to be having a good time, so you really need to gel together as a group. So those understanding right away, session 0 is the most important thing, and don't let yourself just suffer if nothing is going right. So let's talk about a little bit more on how we can make sure everybody gels. So one of the things is understand the needs and wants of the player. Talk to them. So I'm not talking about the player characters with a background story, whatever. I'm talking actual players. What are they trying to get out of the game? What makes them motivated to play? What makes them excited? What do they find interesting in adventures or stories? A lot of this is talked about in session 0, but it's really important that all the players are kind of on the same page. They have the same emotional investment in what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it, so that it all comes together as a unit. If some of the folks want to be crazy people who burn down every town, and there's other folks who want to be hearing a story and building that story up, it could be great fun. They could have a lot of fun together, but it's going to be a little harder to make sure that they all gel, all these players gel together as one kind of unified team. Part of that is paying attention to the gaming styles. So as you're playing, everybody has a different gaming style. Mine as a GM is collaborative. I let the team kind of tell a story back to me. I reach out for their narrative. Some players are hack and slash. They like just killing things, taking their stuff. Others like to role play. Others like intrigue and being able to play out like their Dr. Holmes or their Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson kind of fantasies. And all those different styles can come together and tell a great story, but you need to know what they are. As a player, you need to know your style. As a game master, you need to know what the styles are so that you can kind of come together, build something that everybody has a piece of, that they enjoy, that fits their style, so everybody gets a little spotlight, and then that'll make everybody kind of a unified team. If everyone feels like they're part of the team, they're having a part of it, they're going to feel like they're part of it, they're going to be part of it, and then they're going to be less likely to get bent out of shape if somebody else gets the spotlight, because they have spotlight too. Make sure that you as the GM related to this sets your expectations or set their expectations, the players' expectations to your play style, because you're one of the players, and so you need to gel with the group. So if you are nasty, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but if you are like dungeon crawl, death around every door, and the players aren't bought into that, your group is never going to be cohesive. It's never going to gel together because players are going to be miserable and they're going to ultimately leave anyway. So making sure everybody's understanding how you play the game. And that's another session zero thing. So I'm kind of reiterating it, but I think it's important to talk about. One of the things that's kind of more of a specific advice that I have is sometimes you might want to avoid, if you're playing D&D, having chaotic neutral or evil characters. They sound like fun, and they are a lot of fun for the chaotic neutral character or the evil character, but it's really hard to make them part of a cohesive team, which, even though it's just the characters we're talking about and people are playing in character, it kind of bleeds into real life. And the players themselves are going to have a hard time where one player is always doing something crazy, always, hey, I'm playing my alignment while everyone else is trying to get something done. So be careful about that. Maybe you don't want a game where you have evil and chaotic neutral characters sometimes, We talk about this a lot, and it's really important, is that concept of the adult conversation. This is, if things aren't going right or things don't seem to make sense, have a conversation with the players. Really talk to them, not game master to, player as some kind of hierarchy, but two people who are both trying to have fun with the game, and there's something that's holding you back from you having fun, or there's something as a player that's holding you back from having fun, and ultimately it's holding you back from being part of the overall group, the team. So one of the things that they use a lot and from a management style that you can kind of take advantage of is it's the when I see, I feel kind of statement. And so what that's all about is you don't kind of attack, you try to avoid making it sound like you're attacking them. What you're doing is you're providing your feelings, and it's really hard to argue with somebody's feelings. You may think that the feelings aren't proper, or why are you feeling that? But you can't argue that I feel what I feel. So the idea is if something's going wrong or a player's doing something that's against the overall everybody gelling together as a team, they're kind of pushing the boundaries. You might say, when I see you burn down every village, I feel that we are not really moving the story forward. Or I feel upset because I'm trying to put together an interesting story. Maybe that's a way of couching it. I don't know. It works really well when you're talking about managing a team or working closely with a variety of workers who are on a team. And that's ultimately what we're talking about, is having the player group gel together as a team, the players as a team, not just the characters as a team. Interesting thing that you can also take away from kind of management is this idea of a manager assimilation. If you want your players to feel like a team, feel like it's them, it's a them, not, or it's a us, not a them. One of the things you can try is a manager assimilation kind of technique. And what that is, you as the manager, right, you're the game master, you don't involve yourself in the discussion. And the discussion is just the players, and they talk about what they want, what they're hoping to get out of a game master, what they're hoping to get out of the game. How they think they should work together, how do they know each other, why would they do that, as far as the characters go, and do all that without the game master. And then when the game master comes in, here's the assimilation part, they share those things that they talked about. It's like, hey, here's what we wanted in the game that we talked about. We want to share it with you to see whether that makes sense to you. Why is this different than just kind of having an adult conversation or talking to everybody around the table? What makes it different is you don't have that authority, and let's be honest, the game master is sometimes thought of as an authority. You don't have that authority figure kind of there driving the conversation. It's all the peers. I am talking with my peers, and we are deciding things, and then we're providing those ideas and opinions back now to the authority, or I'm asking this authority specific questions. Like, I want a game that has this. Can you give me a game that has this? Would you enjoy that game? Versus, hey, what kind of game we want to play? Oh, well, what's the game master want to do? Maybe you should tell us, and then we'll just kind of decide whether we think that's a good idea or not. So it goes right along with that adult conversation idea, manager assimilation. As a GM, the last thing I want to bring up, and this is not just, gelling the group together. You're part of that group, but be open to feedback. Solicit it. Look for it. Request it. do everything you can to make feedback and a conversation very open and honest. Be transparent with what you're trying to accomplish by having these discussions. And then be very humble that, hey, I'm presenting this. I'm not God. I'm not the, head everything. I want to understand what you guys are feeling, because those feelings, those understandings of what the players are looking for, you can start gearing yourself to those, which then kind of, think of that manager assimilation where they're coming together to team. You're building a great team because you're hearing them, you're making adjustments to support what they're saying to you. So what am I talking about? Session 0 is the big one. Had a video on it. Lots and lots of content there to talk about. And that is the foundation of we're all in agreement on certain things. Understand the kind of the motivations, what motivates a player, what their needs are, why are they playing the game? Pay attention to their play style, the different play styles, and if you can incorporate them all together in the game, everybody will be feeling like they're part of something, and they are part of something. They're now part of the group. Set your own expectations with the players so they know where you're coming from. Couple of management techniques, the adult conversation, what you observe, how it makes you feel, what you think would make things better. The manager assimilation concept, let the players come together as a group, talk about their desires, what they want, questions they have of the game master, and then the game master come in and have that conversation. And then last, solicit feedback as the game master, or, honestly, as the player, solicit feedback too. What am I doing that's making it hard for all the players to enjoy the game? What am I making it hard to make the game master enjoy the game or do his job successfully? So there's a lot of stuff here. So these were just some random thoughts that I was thinking about. Session 0 is a really big deal to me, but then I know I have these conversations with players. I know that I'm always trying to understand kind of what motivates and what makes the game fun for them individually as well as then a group. If I can kind of tee off of each one of, or build off of each one of their desires and needs. So anyway, random thoughts. If you've got any, I'd love to hear them. Maybe I'm just full of crap. Maybe these techniques don't work. Maybe there's some better way of doing it. But anyway, again, this is Carl Davis with Tabletop Tango. I'm happy that you watched, and I hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye. Adventure and intrigue, fighting monsters out of our league. We'll roll the dice and pray they're nice. A +2 and I might succeed. Whether Cthulhu or D&D.